Oh, hey man, how y'all doing, man? How's everybody doing today? I'm Mr. Johnny Charles, and welcome back to Ben, the Black Educator Network, where we help teachers retain their authenticity while becoming more effective. And today, I want to talk about something very close to my heart. Before I became a middle school social studies teacher, I was a bus driver. Yes, yes, yes. See, I went from corralling kids at 45 miles per hour to corralling kids at 0 miles per hour. See, that's not a career change. That is a lateral promotion. That's what that is. That's a lateral promotion. If you've been in the military before, if you're an Army veteran, you understand what I'm talking about. That's like going from E4 specialist to E4 corporal. Honestly, the only real difference between the two of being a bus driver and then a classroom teacher is that the chairs don't move. And you know what? Neither can I. Neither can I. Because when you're driving a school bus, at least you have a steering wheel, okay? At least you have some control. You can turn left, you can turn right, you can use them brakes, okay? Hey, don't be brake checking them kids, okay? You will get fired for that. And it's not safe. And it's abusive. Don't do that, okay? You can also pull over. A lot of times I would pull over. Now you gotta find you a pull over spot too. Sometimes I won't even leave the school because I know something's about to get down and I might have to pull over. As a teacher, you standing in the middle of the room with dry erase markers, a learning target, and 30 developing brains looking at you like, so what you got today, big dog? And I'm like, we are learning about ancient civilizations. Yes, yes. And they like, well, can ancient civilizations wait? Because Brandon got Takis. See, as a bus driver, my whole job was to survive from one end of town to the other while 77 kids treated the bus like it was a mobile WWE Royal Rumble. Okay. And as a teacher, my job is to survive a class period while 30 kids treated the room like it's still a WWE Royal Rumble. Okay. Now talk about transferable skills there. So except now it's pencils, papers, and a district issue Chromebook that everybody treat like they bought personally with their own little seventh grade credit scores. Okay. And let me say this. School buses are serious business. The National Transportation Safety Board says that every day, nearly 500,000 school buses carry more than 25 million students to and from school and school related activities. I mean, bus drivers are not just driving buses, they're moving nations of children before most adults finish their first cup of coffee. I don't think that's transportation. That's organized miracle with diesel fumes. See, at my teacher interview, the administrator always says classroom management is so important. Classroom management? Try bus management, right? That's a whole nother level. Okay, you have not lived until you are trying to merge into traffic while breaking up an argument between a kid who will not sit down and another kid who swears the first kid stole his imaginary Pokemon cards. Imaginary, not real. No evidence, no witnesses, just pure emotional rage. And you can't even turn around all the way because you are operating a commercial vehicle. So now you're using the mirror like courtroom cameras. Sit down. He touched me. No, I didn't. I saw you in the mirror. No, you didn't. Homie, mirror's right in front of you. Okay. You arguing with reflection technology right now. And let me tell you something. Being a bus driver taught me student management before I ever had a classroom. Because on a bus, you learn voice control. You learn awareness. You learn how to say a child's name with enough bass in your voice that the whole back row quiets down. Jaden. That's all you need. Not a speech, not a lecture, just a name. Because when you are driving a bus, you don't have the luxury of time for a full restorative conversation at a stoplight. Okay. You cannot be like, Jaden, how did your choices impact the bus community? No. Okay. No. You just say, Jaden, sit down before we all meet Jesus. That's the intervention. Okay. And people don't realize how much responsibility is on a bus. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration reports that from 2015 to 2024, 49 drivers and 70 passengers were killed as occupants in school transportation vehicles. Okay, there's a lot of accidents out there. From the morning to the afternoon, that's all I seen was accidents. Okay. Now, compared to regular traffic, school buses are built pretty safe. Like, I've seen a person rear end a school bus and the driver didn't even feel it, didn't even know it happened. Okay. Those buses are pretty stout. Okay. They are very, very safe for the students to travel as long as they're in their seats. As long as they're in their seats, they're pretty safe. Okay. But that number, it reminds you that this is a real responsibility. When you driving a bus, you're not just driving. It ain't like driving your personal car. You are protecting somebody's baby. 77 somebody's babies. And one of them is walking down the aisle with a juice box talking about, I dropped my AirPod. Sir, your AirPod is not priority right now. Okay. Gravity can have it until we get to school. Sit down. Okay. Let's talk about parents, man. Parents were different when I was a bus driver. Okay. As a driver, I met the 6 a.m. version of parents, the defeated version, the just take them anywhere but here version. They did not care if the child had a backpack. Okay. I mean, I don't know if it was a caring thing or like it was just they were depleted, right? Like the child might not have had a backpack. They might not have had lunch with them, matching shoes, homework, jacket, or emotional readiness. Nothing, right? Parents heard the diesel engine coming down the street and said, the Lord has made a way. That bus door open, they say, go. It's like the Red Sea parted. The kid would be walking up with one shoe tied, hair half done, hoodie inside out. I could see the tag. Oh, and the cold Pop-Tart, right? The cold Pop-Tart. That's how I know they was rushing. I don't see no steam coming off that Pop-Tart. It ain't halfway sagging and it has no wrapper on there. Parent at the door like, have a good day, baby. Under their breath, they're like, thank you, Jesus. Look, man, bus drivers, we know the truth, okay? We see that morning version. That's the real version, okay? The we almost did not make it out the house version, okay? But as a teacher, I meet a different version. I meet the email version. That's a different parent. Same person. Different software update. Now it's Good afternoon, Mr. Charles. I have some concerns. That phrase right there would change your whole blood pressure. I have some concerns. I'm like, so do I, ma'am. So do I. Okay. And then she's like, why doesn't my child have an A in your class? Ma'am, your child wants to lick the whiteboard. I saw him do it on purpose twice. And I'm not saying he cannot earn an A. I'm just saying we have multiple areas of growth happening at the same time. Okay. Academics is one. Not tasting classroom surfaces is another. But here's what bus driving taught me. Kids don't become kids when they enter the classroom. They arrive already being kids. They bring the bus with them. They bring the morning with them. Arguments from the bus stop. They bring their big sibling hoodie that they are not supposed to have on. They bring the group chat drama. What else? Oh, they bring the energy of whoever sat behind them and kicked their seat for 12 stops. Okay. I remember those discussions. So when we talk about student behavior, we have to remember the classroom is not the beginning of that story. Sometimes it's chapter 4. Okay, you on chapter 4. All right. By the time they get to us, we teaching after the bus ride. We teaching after the hallway, after breakfast, after somebody looked at somebody weird near the lockers. We teaching through a whole ecosystem of middle school emotions. And middle school emotions are not regular. They not regular at all. Okay, they are emotions with Wi-Fi. They spread fast. That thing go viral. Okay, one student come in mad, and within 4 minutes, the whole table group has caught the spirit. Yes. Now you over here trying to explain the Roman empires while two students are silently communicating through eyebrow movements. Okay. And as a teacher, you got to decide, do I address it? Do I ignore it? Ooh, do I move closer? Mm-mm. Do I change the seating chart? Ooh, hold on. Or you know what? Do I pretend not to see it because I only have 17 minutes? I'm trying to get to this exit ticket. That's the daily calculation. And the biggest similarity between teaching and driving a school bus, both jobs require Jedi level awareness. Okay. Look, both jobs, you got to be a Jedi master or Sith Lord. As a bus driver, it was eyes on the road, eyes on the mirrors, eyes on the kids in the back pretending to vape. But it's really just their breath because I keep the bus cold so they don't abandon their jackets. Okay. I don't know what it is with these kids, but they will leave the most expensive jacket that they just got on the bus. Okay. So I used to keep the bus a little cold, not freezing, but not hot enough to be like, oh, I need to take off my jacket. Nope. Keep that thing on so that your parents don't have to buy you another jacket. Okay. As a teacher, it's eyes on the lesson, eyes on the clock, eyes on the student, trying to sneak in one more round of Roblox. Eyes on the Chromebook screen, reflecting Chat GPT off the window. Okay. Eyes on the kid who suddenly got too quiet because teacher quiet and regular quiet are different. See, regular quiet is peaceful. Teacher quiet means, why are the 4 kids gathered around one backpack? They over there acting like they collaborating. That's an incident warming up. Okay. And I need people to understand that bus driving, it's skilled work. It might not pay much, but it's skilled work. In the Bureau of Labor Statistics, said school bus drivers had a median annual wage of $47,040 in May 2024. And bus drivers need a commercial driver's license. Yeah, it's paid training and you get a commercial driver's license. Now you got to also learn how to parallel park a school bus. That was fun. Okay, look, man, I had my most fun driving these buses. I'm telling you, you get to drive pedal to the metal, turbocharged diesel. Okay, I had a good time. So when people act like bus driving is just driving kids around, it's not. It requires training, patience, timing, safety awareness, route memory, people skills, and the ability to hear one forbidden snack bag opening from 25 feet away. Hey, no eating on my bus. Okay. Because, kids don't clean up after themselves. That's just, that's just what it is. Okay. That's not just driving. That is a mobile classroom management with traffic laws. That's some high level stuff right there. Now, let me take a quick bend break right here. Because if you are a teacher listening to this and you are tired, sick, overwhelmed, or just need one day where you do not have to drag yourself into the building pretending you are fine, Ben Sub plans are made for you. Ben Sub plans are designed to make it easier for teachers to take a day off without spending 3 hours creating emergency work while your body is begging you to lie down. These are ready to print, middle school friendly, culturally meaningful, independent lessons built for 60-minute class periods with teacher directions, student pages, answer keys, and extension activities. So instead of waking up sick at 4:37 in the morning, trying to write a lesson plan with one eye open and a cough drop in your mouth, you can have something ready. Because taking care of yourself should not feel like planning a federal operation. Ben Sub plans help make the day off easier, professional, purposeful, and culturally responsive. Now back to the bus. Because being a bus driver taught me patience. I'm talking about deep patience. Okay. Spiritual patience. The kind of patience you only develop when a kid throws up at 7:12 a.m. on a Wednesday and you still have 18 stops left. There's no professional development for that. No one comes to your bus and says, let's unpack this experience using a reflective protocol. No. You pull over, let the windows down, open the roof hatches. Y'all remember those? And breathe. And then you do what needs to be done. And then you keep going. That is education. Something chaotic happens, you handle it. You breathe and you keep going. But here's what I learned. The bus driver sees the transition. The teacher sees the performance. The bus driver sees the kid half awake, halfway putting on their hoodie, shoes, still mad from home, still carrying the morning. The teacher see that same kid walk in and try to become a student. And sometimes it's easy to forget how transitional that is. From home to bus, from bus to hallway, from hallway to classroom, from classroom to expectations, from expectations to accountability. That can be a lot for some children, especially a middle schooler whose brain is still under construction and whose emotional regulation system is basically running on a 14-day free trial. So when Simon is tap dancing with his chair legs Or Josue is asking me if ancient Egypt had Wi-Fi. Or Daisy is trying to convince me that hot chips are part of her learning style. I just smile and think, at least nobody trying to open the emergency exit this time. Okay. That is traumatic. That was my number one fear, man. That back door emergency exit opening. Whew. Oh my God. Some kid falling out at highway at traffic speed. Oh my gosh. So thank goodness it never happened to me. So being a bus driver, it gave me perspective. It taught me that kids are hilarious, chaotic, brilliant, exhausting, and amazing before they ever walk into my classroom. It taught me that the school day does not start at the bell. It starts at the bus stop. Sometimes it starts at home. It starts with whether the ride showed up. It starts with whether the child had breakfast. It starts with whether the morning was peaceful or a full family group project. Look, I know about those, man. Trying to get my 3 kids to school. Woo! By the time they get to us, we're not starting from zero. We are receiving the whole morning. Let me make it clear. I'm not making excuses for behavior. I'm just explaining why this work, being a teacher, being an educator, working with children, working with humans, requires more than a lesson plan. You got to be aware. You got to have some humor. You got to show some love. And it requires all of us, teachers, drivers, office staff, counselors, paras, custodians, administrators, families, understanding that school is an ecosystem. So shout out. Yeah, shout out to my school bus drivers. Hold on, shout out to my teachers. Hold on. Shout out to everybody who's ever had to say, sit down before 8 a.m. Shout out to everybody who's ever driven, taught, supervised, redirected, encouraged, protected, and prayed their way through school. And if you are a teacher who used to be a bus driver like me, you already know. Okay. Yeah, teaching is hard. Okay. And bus driving is hard. But doing both gives you a special set of skills, like Liam Neeson. Okay, you can manage a classroom, you can manage a route, you can spot nonsense in the mirror, you can hear a snack bag opening from 25 feet away. And most importantly, when a colleague says, Mr. Charles, this class is wild, you can smile and say, ma'am, I used to drive a school bus. Okay. At least they sitting. Okay. Hey, thank you, y'all. This has been the Black Educator Network, helping teachers retain their authenticity while becoming more effective. I'm Mr. Johnny Charles. Look, man, take care of yourself. Get you a sub plan ready. And remember, at least the classroom does not have an emergency exit. Okay. Mr. Johnny Charles out. Peace.